Hello, and a warm welcome to you from House Lux Estate, your reliable source for enlightening content. Today, we delve into a topic that often leaves us scratching our heads in confusion. Why do some people fall prey to obvious scams? Now, you might think it's simple, they're just not thinking clearly, right? But it's a bit more complex than that. Understanding why people fall for scams, especially the conspicuous ones, is crucial. This knowledge isn't just trivia to share at your next dinner party. It's a vital tool that could help you or someone you care about avoid falling into these cleverly set traps. In this video, we'll explore the psychological mechanisms exploited by scammers and how they manage to fool even the most cautious among us. So, are you ready for an enlightening journey into the human mind and the world of scams? Stick around to learn some fascinating insights about the human psychology behind scams. Let's dive right into the psychology that makes scams effective. It's not just about the cunning of the scammer, but also about the psychological tactics they employ. These tactics tap into our basic human instincts and emotions, manipulating us into falling for scams that, in hindsight, seem blatantly obvious. First off, let's talk about urgency. Scammers often create a sense of urgency to pressure their victims into making hasty decisions. For instance, they might claim that a fantastic investment opportunity is about to expire, or that your bank account will be frozen if you don't act immediately. This pressure to act quickly overrides our normal decision-making processes, making us susceptible to scams. Next, there's authority. Many scams work because they appear to come from a trusted authority figure, such as a government agency or a reputable company. We're conditioned to trust and obey authority figures, and scammers exploit this instinct to their advantage. For example, a scammer might pretend to be from the IRS, demanding immediate payment for unpaid taxes. The victim, fearful of the perceived authority, is likely to comply. Finally, let's discuss social proof. This is a psychological phenomenon where people assume the actions of others in an attempt to reflect correct behavior for a given situation. Scammers use this to their advantage by manufacturing false testimonials or creating illusions of popularity. If a victim sees that others are investing in a particular scheme or buying a product, they're more likely to follow suit, regardless of whether the opportunity is genuine or not. These tactics aren't just theoretical. They're used every day by scammers all over the world. Take the infamous Nigerian prince scam, for instance. It uses urgency. Transfer the money now, or the funds will be lost forever. Authority, the so-called prince, and social proof, stories of others who have supposedly become wealthy through the scheme. So, as you can see, scammers use psychological tricks to manipulate their victims. Understanding these tactics is the first step to protecting yourself from falling prey to obvious scams. Now let's talk about two powerful emotions that scammers often exploit: greed and fear. Greed, in essence, is the intense desire for wealth or possessions. It's that glimmer in your eye when you see the potential for huge returns, for something that seems too good to be true. And that's precisely how scammers get you. They dangle the carrot of immense wealth, promising returns that are far beyond the norm. Case in point, the classic Ponzi scheme. You're told your money will double or triple in an astonishingly short time, and it's hard not to be lured by the prospect. Fear, on the other hand, is a primal instinct that can override our rational thinking. Scammers play on this emotion by creating a sense of urgency or threatening dire consequences. Take the case of the tech support scam. You get a call or an email saying your computer is infected with a virus. The scammer creates a sense of panic, insisting the issue must be fixed immediately or all your data will be lost. The fear can be so overwhelming that you rush to pay them, disregarding the red flags. The fear of missing out, often abbreviated as FOMO, also falls under this category. In the world of investment scams, this is a common tactic. You're told that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, that only a select few are privy to this information, and that you must act now or miss out forever. The fear of being left out can push people to make hasty and often regrettable decisions. But here's the thing, scammers are cunning. They understand the human psyche and how to exploit these emotions to their advantage. They paint a picture so enticing or so terrifying that it's hard to resist. But resist we must. Greed and fear can make us vulnerable to scams, but awareness can help us resist these manipulative tactics. So next time you're faced with an offer that seems too good to be true, or a threat that sends your heart racing, take a moment. Step back, breathe, and evaluate. Because you, my friend, are smarter than the scammer. Another common reason people fall for scams is the illusion of legitimacy. Let's take a moment to talk about how scammers create this illusion. They use a variety of tactics, all designed to make you trust them without question. One of the most common methods is the use of professional-looking websites. These sites can often look just as polished and trustworthy as those of legitimate businesses. They may include convincing details such as a business address, customer testimonials, and even a customer service hotline. But here's the kicker. All these can be fabricated. A fancy website does not guarantee a legitimate business. Scammers are tech-savvy, and they know how to make a website look appealing. They understand that a professional appearance can lull people into a false sense of security. Now let's talk about fake reviews. We've all been there, right? We're about to buy something online, but before we hit that purchase button, we check out the reviews. Scammers know this. They know that we trust the experiences of others. So they create fake reviews to bolster their credibility. This brings us to case studies. Consider the case of the infamous Fyre Festival. Marketed as a luxury music festival, it had a slick promotional campaign, complete with celebrity endorsements and glamorous advertisements. People were convinced of its legitimacy, and many parted with thousands of dollars for tickets. But when the festival rolled around, it was a disaster. The luxurious villas were actually disaster relief tents. The gourmet meals were cheese sandwiches, and the promised musical acts never showed up. It was a scam built on the illusion of legitimacy. And then there's the case of OneCoin, a so-called cryptocurrency that was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme. It had a professional website, glowing reviews, and promises of high returns. But it was all smoke and mirrors. Thousands of people lost their savings. These cases illustrate how powerful the illusion of legitimacy can be. The scammers behind them knew how to manipulate people's trust. Remember, appearances can be deceptive. Always do your due diligence before parting with your money. Now let's look at scams from the victim's perspective. Imagine yourself as a financially struggling individual looking for a break. Suddenly, you receive a message promising a significant windfall if only you could help with a minor issue. The seed of hope is planted and it's difficult to resist. This is often the start of a scammer's narrative. Many victims of scams share common characteristics. They may be overly trusting, financially desperate, or lack knowledge about the nature of scams. But above all, they are often hopeful, believing they've stumbled upon a life-changing opportunity. Such characteristics make them prime targets for scammers. To illustrate, let's consider the story of Alice. Alice, a widow in her late 60s, received an email from a supposed foreign prince who needed assistance moving his wealth overseas. In exchange for her help, Alice was promised a hefty commission. Despite initial skepticism, Alice was swayed by the scammer's convincing story and the prospect of a more comfortable life. Over time, Alice sent substantial sums of money to the scammer, depleting her life savings. In another case, meet John, a young man who was enticed by an online investment opportunity. Promised high returns with minimal risks, John invested his money only to realize later that the company was a sham and his money was gone. In both cases, Alice and John fell for scams because they saw a chance to improve their financial situation. Their hope, coupled with a lack of understanding about scams, made them vulnerable. But remember, scam victims are not foolish or naive. They are simply hopeful individuals who have been manipulated by expert con artists. Their stories serve as a reminder that anyone can fall prey to a scam, no matter their background or intelligence. Understanding the victim's perspective can help us empathize with them and also protect ourselves from falling into the same trap. So let's use these insights to stay vigilant and safeguard ourselves against scams. To sum up, the reasons people fall for scams are complex and multifaceted. There's a psychological tug of war at play, with greed and fear as the main culprits. Scammers often dress their schemes in the guise of legitimacy, creating an illusion that lures unsuspecting victims into their traps. But here's the good news. You can protect yourself. Arm yourself with knowledge and skepticism. If an offer sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Take time to research before making decisions, particularly those involving your hard-earned money. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it's okay to step back. Remember, legitimate businesses will not rush you into making hasty decisions. Prevention is always better than cure, and in this case, prevention means staying informed and vigilant. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed and stay safe. Thank you for watching House Lux Estate. Don't forget to subscribe for more enlightening content.